Okay, so it's the nervous system. So the activity that we're going to do implies to have some scissors. Okay, in a moment I remove my background that you can see things better because it disappears. No, it doesn't disappear. Maybe I should just come a bit closer. So the scissors. Okay, you can also use two pencils. Now maybe I do remove my background in a second, and you need a ruler. Okay, let me remove my background. Okay, because then you can better see what I do. And if you go to the Word document, I hope you have it open by now. If you look on it, then what we're going to do is basically go straight to the table. You see here in the horizontal axis, you see 0.5 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, and 3 centimeters, 2.5. But basically, to make it not too long, we could maybe take 0.5 centimeter, 1.5 centimeter, and 2.5 centimeter. Okay. If you want to do it all, you can do it all. And then you see the different parts. Hand palm, this is our hand palm here. Okay. Forehead is right here. Okay, that's our forehead. I didn't brush my hair. Top hand, this is top hand. Okay, that's the other side of the hand palm and top hand. Okay, inside forearm, I put my sweater on, I have to put it off again. So my forearm is this one. So this is the inside right here. I don't know if you can see it like this. Okay, so here, this is my forearm on the inside. My belly, it's right here. Okay, that's my belly. Okay, you can do that. Okay, here, that's your belly. Top of the foot, I mean, gonna get my shoe out. Top of the foot, maybe I could change my camera. No, I still have to program my camera. Anyway, the foot, let me get funny. We all have foots like this. Okay, so the foot, you cannot even see it. Maybe I have to do it like that. That's a foot, and the top of the foot is right here. Okay. And then the bottom of the foot is right there. Okay, it's funny the teacher doing this like this. And then I'm going to connect my microphone so you can hear me a bit better because I forgot. And then we have our lips. Okay. So what are you going to do basically is you have to take the scissors, and you're going to measure the opening of the scissors with your ruler. So I have a ruler, and I'm going to start with 0.5 centimeter. Okay, 0.5 centimeter is about that. So it's a very small opening, 0.5 centimeter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch myself, and you have to be honest with yourself, otherwise it doesn't work. Okay, you're going to touch yourself with those scissors. Okay, so I'm going to touch myself in the hand palm. Can you do that?
Yes.
Maybe put your cameras on so I can see that you're doing this. Okay, if you touch your hand palm, what do you feel? The idea is that you have to write down if you feel, if I share my screen, if I touch myself in my hand palm, so please put your cameras on, all of you. So if I touch myself in my hand palm with the scissors 0.5 centimeter out of each other, how many points do I feel? 1 or 2? That's what you have to write down. How many do you feel? You need pointy scissors, not the round ones, because then it doesn't work that well. It could be slightly different for depending on the person, but if you do it well, how many points do you feel?
1.
You feel 1? You sure?
Yes, I think.
Okay. Yeah, okay, then you write down 1. So basically, if you feel 1, you write down 1. Then you're going to open it to 1 centimeter. Okay. And then you write down how many you feel. You feel 1 or 2?
2.
Okay. If you feel 2, you write 2. If you feel 1, you feel 1. I still feel 1, in fact. It could be different from person to person, and it depends also where you touch yourself.
Yeah, in fact, if I do it right here on the top of my hand, I feel 2. If I do it right here, I feel 1. So basically, it's here you have to do it in the middle. No, might be 2. No, it's 2. I also feel 2, to be honest. And then you go to 1.5. So basically, once you feel 2, then you don't have to go to 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3, because if you feel at 1 centimeter 2, then the other ones will also be 2. Okay. From the moment you feel 2, it will be 2. Okay. Then you go to the forehead. You start with the forehead, 0.5 centimeter, and you say how many you feel. I feel 1 for sure. And then I put 1 centimeter. I still feel 1. And then you go on. I take 1.5 centimeters. You don't have to, you could also skip, do by 1 centimeter if you want. Yeah, from 1.5, I feel 2. So then I can continue. The rest also will be 2. Okay. Top hand, you do the same thing. So continue, please. Top hand. I have my top hand. I start with 0.5 centimeter. On my top hand, I feel 1. I change to do it softly. You don't have to pinch yourself either. 1 centimeter, I also feel 1. Do you have the same results or you feel more? 1.5 centimeter.
I think I feel less, teacher,
Oh, yeah.
especially in the forehead, like up to almost 1.5 centimeters. It would still feel like 1.
Okay, yeah, it's possible. We're all different.
In the forehead, I felt since the beginning too.
But be honest with yourself. In fact, usually we take a partner, you take another person, and then you blindfold the person, and then you're sure, because you know that you always have 2, you know, but you have to tell yourself how many do you feel. So if I take my forearm, 1, open, 1. We never had an accident by doing this in the history of tech, even if it's a dangerous activity. Look, in my forearm, I have 2 centimeters and I still feel 1. 2.5. Yeah, now I feel 2. Your belly is also funny. It might surprise you. Try to do your belly. Look, Isalie, can you come? So my daughter showed up, so I'm gonna do the belly with her. Could you close your eyes, Sia?
¿Por qué?
Pues vamos a hacer un experimento. Cierra los ojos.
¿Por qué?
Es un experimento.
¿Puedo entender?
Mira, cierra los ojos. You're gonna tell me if you feel 1 or 2.
¿Puedo ver?
No, Elia, no puedes ver tele. Mira, ¿sientes una picazón o 2?
1.
1. Okay, I'm doing with my daughter. She's my partner. I'm gonna change it to 1 because you feel 1 or 2?
1.
1. Let's go to 1.5 centimeter. Thanks for assisting, Isalie. You feel 1 or 2 picazón?
1.
1, still 1, wow. Okay, let's go to 2 centimeters. You feel 1 or 2?
2.
2, okay. 2, okay. So I can go with 2. So now can you give me your foot, Isalie? So I have here a foot. This is the foot of my daughter. Can you see? We're going to try the foot. Okay, foot is very interesting. Okay, So we're gonna take the top of the foot of this girl. She is 7 years old. The top of the foot. Close your eyes, please. You feel 1 or 2?
1,
1. You feel 1 or 2?
2,
2. Okay. Yeah, that's because you're small. Okay. Ahorita, the bottom of the foot, Iseli? The bottom of the foot. So the bottom of the foot, if you have a foot. In fact, I'm using a child. Child is slightly different because they are smaller, so they have more concentrated neurons. So basically, if you would take a child, you would see slightly different results than with you as an adult. Okay, because they're more sensitive in different places. So I start with 0.5 centimeter on the bottom of her foot. Close your eyes, dear. You feel 1 or 2?
2,
2. Okay. That wouldn't happen with adults. Okay, wait a second. I'm going to fill in 2 everywhere. And now the tongue, we're not going to do it. We're just going to do the lips. Close your eyes. You feel 1 or 2?
2,
2. Yeah, that's expected because... Okay. Are you done, guys?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost.
Hmm? Si quieres hacemos saca la línea. Cierra los ojos. 1, 2.
2,
2. Okay. Yeah, that's also expected. Yeah. It's nicer with another person, because you bias yourself a little bit, you know it's 2, so you're gonna more easily say that it's 2 when it's actually only 1. So it's better with a partner, but my partner is like a little girl of 7 years old. It's even different, because I explain you in a second why it's different with little humans. Okay, are you ready? Valentina, are you ready? Because I would like, could you show your screen? So I stop sharing and you show me your results. I don't know if you can share. Yeah, I think you can, no?
It won't let me share my screen.
All right, let me, I'm going to the settings. There should be somehow I can do that. All right, try again.
Nope.
No?
I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, I think so, because maybe Leonela, did you do it? Or anybody who did it?
Yes,
Okay,
I can share.
can you share, please?
Yes.
Because I don't want to show my results. I mean, it's... Okay, so we're looking at the results of Leonela. It's our volunteer. And you see exactly what we would expect, 1s and 2s, okay? So Ana Sofia Roman, why do you think that in this table we see 1 and 2 in different places? Why don't we see everywhere 2 when she was touching herself with 2 points? So why there is sometimes 1?
I think we are more sensitive in certain parts. For example, the lips and the tongue are very, very sensitive. So like from the first instant, we felt 2. And then other parts, like for example, here I think it would be, for example, the belly, it's not as sensitive. So, and the belly and the inside of the forearm. So we
Okay.
don't feel as much.
Exactly, that's a very good conclusion. Leonela, so it seems out of your results that you have very sensitive lips and you have a very sensitive tongue, okay? In fact, that's what we all have. The only thing that I find a bit surprising is your forehead. I would have expected a little bit more once, but of course, it's possible that you have tooth there. It depends person to person. What is also expected is that if you compare between the hand palm and the top hand, what is a little bit strange here is that you would expect, in fact, that your hand palm is more sensitive than your top hand. And basically, what you concluded is that you feel better in the top of your hand than on the inside of your hand. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's because I used to do gymnastics, so my hands like are full of tienen muchos callos. So
Okay.
I think that's a variable that changes.
Okay, yeah. It's not a wrong result. I think you did really well, but I'm just showing your results because, yeah, that's basically the question. Find out which body parts are the most sensitive. And indeed, usually what is more sensitive is the lips and the tongue, definitely. Why do you think that is?
Because they don't have like they're more protected, I guess. For example, I feel like I'm a really clumsy person, so I'm always hitting myself with a wall or whatever. And
Me too.
I never hit myself like in the tongue or in the lips, so I feel like they're more protected. So
Yep.
that's why they're more sensitive.
It's true. Basically, our lips and our tongue, they have way more nerve endings, more receptors, like mechanical receptors, because that's where we put the food in our mouth. So we have to sense really well there. So if we look, if we go to question 2, which are the body parts that are least sensitive? Why, for instance, would you see that the bottom of your foot seems to be very sensitive, your bottom of your foot, but usually it's not that sensitive. But anyway, if we look at the inside of the forearm, the top of the foot, and the belly, let's say that they're expected to be a little bit more sensitive. Why is that? Why are our hands more sensitive than the inside of our forearm or our belly? Why is that?
Because of the form of the nervous system is attached to our body.
Because
Yeah.
we feel things with our hands and stuff, so
Exactly,
we gotta
our-
have more nerves.
Our hands are made to feel, in fact, so that's true. So they have more nerve endings. That's the reason. Okay. Why do you think, for instance, if we go to question number 3, I took my daughter, okay, and if I see my results, you would see, or you would expect that my daughter of 7 years old is more sensitive than I would be. Why do you think that is?
Because if
Just
you're
saying.
little,
Yes, Ana Paula?
Yeah, you go ahead.
sorry. Because when you're little, like the nerves, like you still have the nerves, but they are kind of compacted in a smaller area.
Yeah, exactly that. I'm taller, so my nerves are spread out over a bigger surface than in a little baby or a little girl. There's more concentration of the nerves because the body is smaller. Okay, I have more nerves definitely than she has, but if we take a unit of surface and we look to children, you would see that they have more nerves than an adult. Okay. Yes, Ana Paula?
Teacher, I just have the question. So if you're like I don't know how to say it, a little person, a petite person, but you're like an adult, are you more sensitive or not?
You talk about midgets.
No, not really. Like people who are just small, like
like
Not
the dwarfs
so.
from The Hobbit.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any study about that, but I would expect yes. I would expect that they would feel more per unit of unit surface of the body than a full grown or a very tall human being. Yeah, I would say so. Yes. Yeah, but I'm not exactly sure because I haven't read that in any paper. I didn't do the research, but intuitively I would expect yes. It would be logical, you know. I mean, it's not that an adult has like 10 times more neurons than a child has. It's not like that. They might develop a little bit more nerve endings, but basically the organs and the nervous system, everything is fully developed at birth, you know, and when you grow, it just stretches out a little bit, you know. So that's what I would expect. And then if we look, you can stop sharing or you can go even to the bottom, Leonela, if you want, please, then I don't have to do it.
Teacher, so small people, they have a concentrated like nervous system, but a big heart.
No, I think the heart would be proportional with the body. However, I have to be honest that I don't really know that. In fact, if we talk about small people, naturally small people, I think things would be more or less in proportion. If we talk about midgets, like people that didn't grow properly, like the guy, what's the name of Game of Thrones guy there? I don't know how he's, but he's like a very famous midget, you know. The thing is that in these conditions, we will see that in the endocrine system, they became that small because there is a lack of the growth hormone. And then you have to see as well, okay, what else activates the growth hormone? So for me, I don't have enough knowledge about the endocrine system to give a very good answer about this, if this also affects the organs. I might think it does, however, because I don't think I mean, I think something like growth hormone affects organs as well. So yeah, I wouldn't really know if there is a proportional thing, but I expect there would be something. Okay, then Leonela is showing here this cartoon thing, and this is what we call homunculus. Okay, it looks a bit funny, but basically it looks like this because the things that have more nerve endings, they are in fact a little bit bigger. So that's why you can see that the hands are really big, the feet are big, the lips and the tongue are really big. So this image shows us more or less like which parts of the body are more sensitive. And of course, it's for a very good reason. Our feet have more nerve endings because now we have shoes, but we didn't have always to use shoes. So we would feel really well the surface beneath our feet. Our hands have very much nerve endings because for the very same reason, you know, we need to feel, we can feel textures, we can feel if it's smooth, we can feel if it's pointy. And then of course the lip and the mouth is very sensitive because this is a safety mechanism as well for the food that we ingest. Okay, you can stop sharing, Leonela. Okay, so everybody understands that by doing this exercise, in fact, what we are learning is that that we call that innervation, that our body is not innervated equally everywhere. Okay, so certain parts they have higher sensitivity than other parts. Okay, let's have a look at a small introduction video about this nervous system. Go there. You don't have to upload your results or anything. If you did it, it's a nice experiment just for yourself to see, to come to this conclusion. In fact, that's why we do it. But I'm not going to give you points for it because, I mean, it's in fact impossible to do it wrong. Okay, there we go. Let's have a look at this introduction video, okay? And I hope I don't forget to put my camera back on, my mic.
Today, we will talk about an organ that rules all of our body, and that is our brain. As it is the most sensitive organ, our brain is kept inside a bony covering called skull. From doing physical activity to solving logical problems, from dealing with emotions and feeling to creativity, the brain is responsible for all. Therefore, it never sleeps. Our brain can be divided into three main parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and brainstem. Cerebrum is the largest part of brain, which can be further divided into right and left halves, called hemisphere. Each cerebral hemisphere has 4 lobes, namely frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe, and temporal lobe. Each lobe performs different functions. Cerebellum is responsible for movement and coordination. It gives you sense of balance and thus prevents you from falling down. Brainstem includes midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. It controls your body's involuntary actions, like breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. Brain comes under a system called nervous system. Structurally, nervous system is classified into 2 types: central nervous system, CNS, and peripheral nervous system, PNS. The central nervous system comprises of the brain and spinal cord. The spinal cord is the bridge that connects the brain to peripheral nervous system. It starts from medulla oblongata and stretches to lumbar region of the spine or vertebral column. The peripheral nervous system is a network of nerves spread across our body. Think of peripheral nervous system as a network of highway that connects the body with central nervous system. This highway has 2-way traffic. Let's see how. When you hold a hot cup of coffee, sensory neurons in your hand transmit signal to brain through sensory neurons, also called afferent neurons, that the cup is hot. Your brain processes that information and send response through motor neurons, known as efferent neurons, that you must put that cup back. PNS consists of total 43 pairs of nerve, among which 12 originate in brain, named as cranial nerves, and 31 originate from spinal cord, hence called as spinal nerves. Here you hear the word neuron. Neuron is the basic unit of nervous system. It is the nerve cell which transmit electrical signals to brain. A neuron has 3 parts: dendrites, soma or cell body, and axon. Dendrites serve as input device for neuron because it receives input from other nerve cells. Soma or cell body of neuron contains nucleus. Axons serve as output device from where it transmits electrical response to other neurons. I hope this helps you in understanding nervous system.
Okay, I think this is really a very good video of the nervous system because it's very complete. It gives us a good idea of all the parts. So what we have seen basically is that the nervous system, we can divide it in 2 big parts. What are the names of those parts?
Central nervous system and I don't remember the other
A
one.
peripheral nervous system.
Very cool.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so we're going to see the nervous system in those 2 parts. Well, it's basically my background, you know, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. I will go, I mean, basically, you have seen very important information in the video. I would recommend you to see the video again. We will talk about the peripheral nervous system. We will talk about the central nervous system. But there is like a little part that will come next week is we will also talk a little bit about drugs because most drugs, they affect your central nervous system. So it's important, I believe, not to promote any drugs. Drugs are always bad, but I think it's important to tell a little bit about what kind of drugs exist, because if you get in contact with those drugs, which you will, don't think you will not, you will, everybody does. It's only your decision what you do with it when this contact arrives. What I don't recommend any drugs. I think even alcohol is dangerous. But it's important that you distinguish a little bit, you know, that if you decide to try something at one point in your life, which I hope you don't, that you at least know to select the ones that you could try without doing too much harm, without on yourself, or the really, really bad ones. Okay, so I mean, where I'm going is that if you ever think about trying something and you have the choice between smoking crack or smoking marijuana, which one would you take better? Is
Crack.
Crack, definitely crack.
No.
Maybe cocaine.
No, never ever do crack. Crack is horrible. It makes you very addictive. It's very destructive for your body. I mean, if you're confronted to the two of them and you would need to take a choice, I would definitely go for the marijuana, you know. But anyway, I don't recommend any drugs. That would be utterly wrong for any teacher. But I do think it's important to teach you a little bit what are the dangers of each drug and which ones are not that harmful. Because I think it's ridiculous just to say never touch it, everything is really, really bad. Okay, I hope this will be the situation, you know, that you never touch it. But the fact of not teaching you what the difference is, then you also don't know the dangers, you know. And that's my point if I take this smoking crack and smoking marijuana example, you know. Yes, Emilio?
Oh, like opium, right? That we have opium receptors in the brain, which
Yeah.
affect us worse.
Yeah, opium is very, very addictive. But the thing is, the big advantage about opium, Emilio, is try to get it. It's very, very hard to find here in the Americas. If you want to find opium, you have to go to Afghanistan, to Laos, to Asia. There it's more easily to find. Here, if somebody sells you opium, then I would even wonder if that's opium, because it's very difficult to find, you know. However, they found some poppy fields in Guadalajara, right? In Jalisco or something, I heard. Anyway, yeah, and then also, of course, you have to make the difference between the chemical drugs and the natural drugs a little bit, of course. So the nervous system, the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system is the two big parts, okay? So the nervous system is basically a mechanism to generate a quick action somewhere else. So for instance, you have the brain. It's in fact the central processing unit. So what does the brain do? It gets sensory input, which is ears, nose, eyes, feeling. All of that is sensory input, okay? That are signals that are sent to the brain. And then you have motor output. This is movement. Basically, it's excretion of glands or sweat or pheromones. That's all motor output. The release of hormones. So that are signals that are sent from the brain to certain receptors. So it's a two-way system. Okay, it controls all the functions in our body in a very fast way. It's almost as fast as electricity, you know. It goes really, really fast. So even if you think of moving your finger, you can also move it almost at the same time that you're thinking it. It's that fast, you know. Emilio, you still have a question because you raised your hands. Your hand is still raised.
No, I forgot.
Teacher, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What is the opium? So, what is it? Why do that thing get you that high?
And where do we buy it?
Where we can opium is in fact a thing that comes from a flower. Okay, this flower is grown. It originates from China, from Central Asia. And opium is basically the active component of the flower, which we call Papaver somniferum, okay? And basically what it does, it blocks certain pain receptors. So it's opioids, in fact. So it's how it works, it's basically gonna block certain neurons so that you don't feel pain anymore. But at the same time, it activates other neurotransmitters that release, it activates other centers in the brain that release neurotransmitters that do the opposite thing, that makes you feel relaxed, that makes you feel really happy. And that's why it's so addictive, because basically in normal circumstances, you don't produce this amount of neurotransmitters, you know, it's thanks to these opioids that this is released. And that's why you become addicted, because basically your body is not used of feeling so much of that neurotransmitter at the same time, that you always want to take more and more and more to have that same feeling. But the problem is that the more you take, the more this neurotransmitter gets depleted, and the dose goes higher, and yeah, it does damage to your body in the long term. So we will see that when we talk about the drugs in more detail, that basically all kinds of drugs, they act on the neuron level. But I prefer to first watch how the neuron works, to see how so it can do two things: or it promotes the release of neurotransmitters, or it inhibits the release of certain neurotransmitters, or it can do even both. So you have neurotransmitters that activate things, and you have neurotransmitters that shut down certain things. And this has everything to do with the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. But we also have to see first the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system in order to understand how those drugs work. So maybe it's better for next week, Wednesday, to to see first a little bit the theory of the nervous system, because then we will understand better how the drugs work. Because if you don't understand how the sympathetic and the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system work, it's difficult to understand the functioning of the drugs, you know. Okay, so I prefer to wait a little bit, and then everything becomes clear, you know, because yeah, let's wait until Wednesday to see the theory, because our system, our nervous system, has two parts. It has one part which we call the parasympathetic division, and the other part which we call the sympathetic division. And basically they do opposite tasks. Okay, the parasympathetic is the part that makes your body in rest. It activates digestion, it activates the production of saliva, it makes digestion better, it relaxes the bladder, all of these kind of things, it relaxes the lungs. And then you have the sympathetic division, which is really more designed in order to, we call that fight and flight. So it's whenever you're in stress, or you need to activate your muscles, you need to be strong, you need to focus and have more blood in the muscles and in the brain, and not so much in the digestive system. So this is the other part. So we have two parts of our nervous system. One is focusing on the rest and digest, we call that, and the other part is focusing on the fight and flight. And if we overactivate one of the two parts, then it can give a pleasurable feeling. And that's exactly what often many drugs do, you know. But we'll see that in more detail. Anyway, it's time, we have to go, because I guess you have another class, and we see each other on Monday. No, not on Monday, on Wednesday. And on Monday, I hope you can enjoy your free day. I think we all deserved it.
Thank you, teacher. Teacher, I have a
Thank you,
question
sir.
about the
Bye.
lab
Thank you, teacher.
for module 3.
Thank you, teacher. How nice.
We're supposed to get chicken hearts, but I have no idea where to get a chicken heart. I'm not from here in Saltillo, so I have no idea where I can get a chicken heart.
The chicken heart, you can, if you buy, if you go to HEB, they already removed it. But basically, if you go to the market or something, you can get it. If you cannot get it, don't worry. Then just look for some pictures on the internet that gives you the same thing. Okay.
Okay.
I don't
It's because I'm not from Saltillo. Like I moved here during the pandemic, so I don't really know any places like
I think on
outside from
HEB
where I live.
Where are you
in
from?
HEB, yes, if you go
I am
to HEB
I'm
on Monday,
from.
when there's
Okay, I'm gonna try HEB. I'm gonna try HEB, but I am from Guadalajara, but I moved from Houston recently.
Ah, that's cool. It must be hard for you to be in Saltillo, because really, I mean, it's a nice city. It has a lot of nature, but the people in Guadalajara, I think they're a little bit more open-minded. I mean, it's just my
Yeah, it's been hard. It's not, especially in pandemic, it hasn't really been easy. It's different kind of people.
Yeah.
a lot and the culture changes. Even though it's like still Mexico, it's still kind of like different sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
And yeah.
Well, I hope you can adapt a little bit, okay? And don't worry about those
Yeah,
chicken
thank you.
hearts. If you don't waste your time looking for them. If you cannot find them, just get some pictures from the internet or whatever. It's fine, okay?
Okay, teacher,
Thank you,
I have a
teacher.
question.
Yes, Ana Pao?
Is it okay? Like we're my team, we wanted to see if we can get like more girls to get together. And so we're just gonna be like 4 girls doing it or 5, but we can separate the teams. Just make it together.
Ah, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm fine with that. The only thing I want to ask you, please upload it individually because it's always that certain
yes.
they don't upload it and then they suppose, no, but Ana Pao uploaded it. Yeah, you can tell me that, but that doesn't count, you know. You cannot just say another student did it. I know that sometimes the activity says that only one member of the team has to upload it, but I told you since the beginning in August that I want everybody to upload everything because that's how I check your grades, you know. I check it individually and it's very tiring and tiring and time consuming, in fact, to check all the names and then travel from the grades from one student to the other one. So I really want every student to have everything, that I have a good view of what they all did, okay?
Yeah, that's okay. We'll upload it individually.
Okay,
But
perfect.
thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye, take care. Adios, Daniela.
Sir, I have a question too. We don't have to turn this in, right? The activity?
Sorry?
The activity we did, we don't have to turn it in?
No, this is just in the class. I mean, I just told
Okay.
you that there's no point in handing it in because, I mean, there's not wrong or right, you know. I just hope you did it.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you too. Nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.